Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we are joined by Greg Perotto.
Yeah,
Greg, welcome to the podcast.
thank you. It's great to be on.
So, Greg, you have had stints at some pretty large organizations like SAP and Hootsuite among them. And now you're actually a VP of global marketing at a company called Poggio.
Poggio.
Poggio. All right. Which is actually a much smaller AI native company. What
It is.
was kind of the moment that you decided that the startup side of the table was where you wanted to be?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've actually been sort of at all stages of organizations. Like if you look at my resume and you look at, say, DocuSign, and you think, wow, that's a pretty massive company. Well, I joined DocuSign as employee 75. And so it was a much smaller organization when I joined. And, over the 7 years I was there, grew that brand globally. And there are other organizations where I joined and they were much larger, like New Relic or even T-Mobile when I worked there. But the appeal to me of Poggio was multifaceted. First and foremost, I knew I wanted to get into AI as sort of a breakout category, and really what Poggio does from an AI perspective is really, really interesting and near and dear to my heart as a go-to-market and revenue leader. Uh, you know, most of my career I've spent trying to help and partner with sales organizations so that they deeply understand our customers, those customers' unique individual challenges, and then how we as a company solve them with our products, services, and solutions. And to try and do that consistently at scale is really, really difficult. If you think about a sales rep's day, an enterprise sales rep's day, they would need to research each of those individual companies, deeply research them, go out and find out about who the stakeholders are, what they care about, what their strategies and priorities are, what their challenges are, and then map their solutions back to solving those things. And for a single account, that can take hours, if not days. If you have, 10, 20, 50, 100 accounts in your territory, then you're talking about an insurmountable amount of research. And then just trying to stay up on that as CEO changes, a new competitor comes into the marketplace, the company you're targeting launches a new product or does an M&A. All of that stuff materially changes your perspective or your point of view on how you can help that company. It was near and dear to my heart with Poggio because our AI solves that problem, right? We help revenue organizations deeply understand their customers, understand their priorities and challenges, and how they uniquely solve them so that every seller and every AI agent that's operating on behalf of that company goes to the customer at the right time with the right message that helps them advance deals forward. And so those things combined sort of, I knew it was the right company. And then when I started interacting with the co-founders, Matt Slotnet and Connor, both of them to me had this incredible level of both IQ and EQ, incredibly smart guys, great experience leading up to Poggio, but also like high EQ, emotional intelligence. And I thought I could learn from them. I thought I could help them learn a few things from my experience. And so all of those things together really combined to make it the right opportunity, regardless of the organization's size. But to your point about the size, I felt like I could really roll up my sleeves and dive in deep to all facets of marketing versus my historical sort of areas of expertise and leaning in on experts in the areas where I didn't have as much experience and leading those versus really diving in and getting to know every part of our marketing and go-to-market organization.
Interesting. Yeah, you must get much more, I guess, freedom when you are at a smaller organization than like a bigger established one. What?
I, yeah, I think that depends on the organization because really, if you come into an organization, regardless of size, you understand what needs to be done, and you get confirmation that these are the things that we need to focus on. And then you focus on executing on those things really well. I think you earn those degrees of freedom from your boss or from the CEO or from the board. Demonstrated results not only get you freedom, it gets you an opportunity to demonstrate even more and better results.
Hmm. What do you think, Greg, does a revenue team actually need from an AI platform that most vendors are still getting wrong?
Well, I think from the perspective of Poggio, for me, it's really having a platform that is continually working in the background, that is augmenting the work of your sellers with agents, that's optimizing your go-to-market workflows, that is automating tasks to again augment those sellers and free up time so that they can focus on the most critical work and what they do best, which is building deep customer relationships and trust that help close deals. And so, for me, our platform does a lot of the heavy lifting. It automates the account planning, account research, building a POV, what the next actions are in the account, and doing all that on a continual basis. So again, if something materially changes in the account, that's presented proactively and pushed to the seller and to other agents rather than them having to go out and do the research and find it themselves. And I think that idea of pushing intelligence to the people that need it when they need it in their flow of work. So for the vast majority of sales teams that we're interacting with, they're working in Slack, they're working in Salesforce, their agents are working in Agentforce. We just launched last week native integrations in all three of those places for Poggio's customer intelligence and context. And so, being in the places where people work so that you're not disrupting the flow of work, you're not swivel chairing, if you will, and having to pivot in between platforms to find data and piece it all together. I think those things are significant hurdles that a lot of organizations are challenged with and are looking for solutions that solve that. And a fair amount of AI native organizations are struggling with and trying to figure that out. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is context. That context for your sellers, that context for your agents that helps them understand what's important to this customer and how can I help them achieve that.
Mhm. What do you think is the most important part of great outreach?
I think it's really understanding the customer in and then using that understanding to have a very tailored, very personalized approach to your outreach. I think those two things hand in hand are the most critical.
Mhm. And what do you think? Because there is a lot of so-called personalization with AI
Sure.
now being made, but a lot of it is AI slop, at least from my experience. You must
Agreed.
get also tons of personalized messages, but they are really not personalized. So I guess my question to you is the real problem like in the way that people are using AI, or is it the sources of information that the AI is processing to actually create that personalization?
I don't think it's the people. What I would say is I think again, for outreach to be successful, whether it's by a human or by an agent, it needs to have context. The context needs to be accurate and it needs to be about what that customer or prospect is trying to do. What are their priorities? What are the challenges that are getting in the way from them achieving those priorities? And how do you, as an organization, your products, your solutions, your services, uniquely solve those priorities and challenges for them? And I think oftentimes what you find is that the AI tools that are out there, um, they don't get a comprehensive, deep understanding of the customer. It's very surface level. And as a result of that, they're not getting the kind of information that is truly interesting and relevant to the audience that they're personalizing to. I get outreach, to your point, that feels like AI slop to me, where I'm being literally at my Poggio email address being pitched about solutions that would solve problems from the last company I was at 3 years ago and companies before that. And it's an entirely different space. It's not even like I'm in the same space. And so it's just bewildering to me with the sources that are available and how AI can be designed to cross-reference with multiple points of sort of confirmation that Greg works at Poggio. He's been here for a year and a half. This is his role versus, pitching me on something in an entirely different space from a past role in my career. It's baffling. And so I think that it really is in how the AI is designed, the sources that it accesses, and frankly, to create trust with the user, providing reference points or links back to those sources. So if you go into a Poggio point of view or an account plan, we will provide you links back to the reference documents, the financial statements, the earnings call, a quote in an obscure media outlet that the CEO made about reinforcing their priorities. And so we will provide those links so that the user has full confidence that the information they're getting is current and accurate. And that's critical in order for AI to be, successfully implemented in the go-to-market organization.
Mm. Yeah, that's very important. You're right. Like the data is the context that you give to AI. That's the big deal. And
Well,
for
and yeah, that context comes from not only doing research of, you know, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, like public websites and external stuff like that, but also connecting to your call recording platform, right? Like a Gong, and getting the latest information from that call recording platform of a call maybe you had with a prospect yesterday. And, for us with Poggio, by connecting Poggio either natively or through MCP or REST API or even A to A, we can get at that data and proactively surface to you an updated account plan or an updated POV or updated next actions based on the conversation you had yesterday or this morning with a prospect. And so that context comes from a lot of different external and internal platforms, many of which the data is either locked in or is not being pulled into a centralized place or repository to be able to create that really clear understanding of your customer.
Mhm. And for Poggio itself, how are you guys currently finding and converting the right customers? Is it
Well,
mostly word
obviously
of
we
mouth
use
or?
Poggio. Yeah, we use Poggio, right? And we have a very good understanding of where our product is most effective. So as an example, large B2B enterprise organizations is a target for us. A retail or consumer-based organization, not so much, because you don't need to know as much about a consumer in that sale of, say, a wireless device or a mobile phone than you need to know when you're selling $100 million contract, technology contract to an enterprise organization. And so fundamentally, we understand where our product delivers the most value. And then we ourselves leverage Poggio. Inside Slack, we'll ask Poggio to build an account plan. And then Poggio will automatically deliver a digest, updates, details, so that we understand exactly what's going on in that customer and how we help them.
That's awesome. And if you could go back and have one conversation with yourself on day one at Poggio, knowing everything that you know now about building in the revenue AI space, what would you tell yourself to do differently?
That's a great question. What's interesting to me is in the conversations that I had with the co-founders, with Matt and Connor, in the interview cycles, much of what we talked about of where the biggest opportunities lie, like with Salesforce as an example, as a partner, have all sort of come true and we've made them happen. And so there isn't anything I would necessarily do differently. I think that over that year and several months that I've been at Poggio, I personally and we collectively have learned a lot about the customer needs, evolving the product for those needs. And so I don't know if we hadn't gone through those opportunities to learn from customers, that we would be as successful as we are now, or would have gotten as far as we are now with some sort of, you know, cheat code on day one. So I think all of the stuff that we went through to get from there to here was very valuable in terms of us, you know, innovating on top of the product that was existing, in terms of us truly understanding how to position and message to our market, in terms of building relationships with great people at Salesforce as partners. Uh, I'm not sure that I would do something different.
Okay. Well, wrapping this up, where can people find you and where can they find Poggio?
Yeah, Poggio.io is our web address, so you can go there and see a demo video, sign up for a free trial. You can also search for Poggio on the Salesforce Agent Exchange, which the Agent Exchange was just launched last week as sort of a coming together of the App Exchange, of the Slack Marketplace, and of um, the Agentforce exchange as well. So all of those have sort of been brought together, and you can find Poggio there.
Okay. Greg, thank you for tuning in to today's podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.